The author says, may Allah have mercy upon him, تفصيل 25 لازم كل مكلف فحقق واغتنم. The detail of 5 plus 20 binds anyone accountable, says the author. We say, though, not anyone and everyone who is accountable. Rather, the detail of 5 plus 20 binds the communally accountable. Yani someone amongst the Muslims. فحقق, so be exact, واغتنم, and benefit. Reap the rewards, reap the benefits, reap the fruits. 25. Why 25? Are there more than 25 prophets? There are. Why 25? Because they are mentioned in the Qur'an. 25 mentioned in the Qur'an. So I mentioned last time they're not in order, but not why I said they weren't in order, because he said Adam and Enoch, and there's someone between Adam and Enoch. Adam's the first, Enoch's the third, but the second one is not in the Qur'an. Sheath is not named in the Qur'an. So these 25 prophets are those named in the Qur'an. The author says, Hum Adamun Idrisu Nuhun Hudu Ma' Salih wa Ibrahim kullun muttaba'. They are Adam, Enoch, Noah, Hud, with Salih and Abraham. Each is followed. So, like we mentioned then, Adam, he is first human, the father of men, and yani the father of mankind. But he's not Eve's father. Keep that in mind. He's everyone's father but Eve. He's Eve's husband. And he was a messenger. Enoch, he was a messenger, and he was the third prophet, and he was the last prophet before people blasphemed, before humans blasphemed. So Adam, Sheath, then Enoch. After that, people blasphemed. Then Allah said, Noah, he is Shaykhul Rusul. He's the Shaykh of the messengers. That is, the elder. He is the elder of the messengers. He called the people for 950 years. 950 years. 1,000 years minus 50. And Allah Ta'ala exterminated humanity, other than the believers who are with Noah. Then the humans came from the sons of Noah after that. Sam, Ham, and Japheth. Someone asked me, so all the humans came from Sam, Ham, and Japheth, so that means there's only 3 races of humans? Why only 3 races of humans? I didn't answer him yet. I suppose he'd say, well, because there's 3 sons of Adam, so I mean 3 sons of Noah, so there should be, then that means there's 3 races. So I would say to him, how many people the humans came from? They came from 1 man and 1 woman? Yeah. So how many races? So we know right there, we know right from there, Allah can create a race from another one. It's not a condition that human beings going to give birth to one of his same race. Not a condition. Allah created humans from the first human. He created the first human from multiple soils. Soils of multiple colors, varying shades, and varying textures. So that's why, even though Adam is 1 man, humans come out different. Adam. And Adam was what? Assyrian. So I asked, how is the Assyrian? Because that's what the Prophet said. That's enough. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, 4 prophets are Assyrian. Assyrian. It starts with an A. 4 prophets were Assyrian. Adam, Sheath, Enoch, and Noah. So what that means, Adam was Assyrian, means that's how Allah created him. like we said before. Allah will, He could have created him like a Chinese man, or He could have created him like, yani, some people didn't like I said African man. So if you want, I could say a Negroid. Negroid. That sounds worse to me though. And some people, I mean, and if Allah will, He could have created him another way. All the European media, they depict Adam as like Caucasian man. If Allah willed, He would have been any of that. What was he? He was an Assyrian man. So hum Adamun Sheeth. Sorry, Bismillah. Hum Adamun Idrisu Nuhun Huduma. They are Adam, Enoch, Noah, Hud, with is on the wrong side there. Salih wa Ibrahim kullun muttaba. With Salih and Abraham, each is followed. Hud, he's Arab prophet sent to the tribe of Ad, the first ones who blasphemed after the flood, and they were the tallest people that Allah created, and they were the conquerors of the world at their time. With Salih and Abraham, Salih, he was also Arab prophet sent to the tribe of Thamud. He was the one who performed the miracle of the camels coming out of a boulder. As for the people of Hud, Allah exterminated them with a windstorm. And as for the people of Salih, Allah sent an angel to them to scream at them. He screamed at them and their hearts tore in their chests and they died upon their knees. So Adam wasn't Caucasian, yani unless Assyrians are Caucasians. I didn't understand or think that Assyrians were Caucasian, but I don't know. But he wasn't like, if you want, how do you see a British man? How do you see a Norwegian man? He wasn't like that. How do you see a German man? He wasn't like that. Alayhi salatu wassalam. And Abraham, alayhi salam, the second best prophet, the second greatest prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was born and raised in Babylon. He said Caucasians are people whose ancestors are from the Caucasus Mountains. MashaAllah, that's what they say. Abraham, he was born and raised in Babylon, alayhi salatu wassalam. And he was a messenger. He debated with the star worshippers and the idol worshippers. And he debated with the tyrant king Nimrod. And they attempted to burn him alive, alayhi salatu wassalam. They launched him into an inferno. And that's the first time a catapult was constructed in human history. The time of Abraham, alayhi salatu wassalam. And he migrated from Babylon to Palestine. He migrated with his wife and his nephew. His wife, Sarah, and his nephew, Lot, the son of Haran. Kullum muttaba, each is followed. Each one of these prophets had his own nation, some more than others. Allah said about the nation of Noah, وَمَا آمَنَ مَعَهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلٌ. Only few believed with him. It was said about 80 people. لوط وإسماعيل إسحاق كذا يعقوب يوسف وأيوب احتذى. Lot and Ishmael, Isaac also, Jacob, Joseph, and Job upon their legacy. So Lot, Lut, alayhi salam, that's the nephew of Abraham. Abraham had a brother named Haran. Sorry. He had a brother named Haran. And his brother Haran had a son, Lot. Lut. Lut. فآمن له لوط. Lot believed in Abraham. And later, Allah made him a prophet and a messenger. Allah made him a messenger and dispatched him to the Sodomites, the literal Sodomites, the ones who come from Sodom. The Sodomites who come from Sodom, the town. In Arabic, it's called Sudum. And that town had suburbs. So that town with its surrounding towns, it was a metropolis. Those were the first homosexuals. Allah exterminated them. He sent angels to them in Jibreel. He uprooted their towns out of the ground, took them up into the sky, flipped them upside down, and then dropped them. And anyone who was not in that patch of earth that was ripped out and flipped, Allah made stones rain upon them. So Allah called those people al-mu'tafikat, al-mu'tafikat, those who were flipped, the ones who were flipped. Or they're called al-mu'tafika, al-mu'tafika, the flipped ones. Ishmael, Isaac, those are the sons of Abraham. Ishmael is the oldest one. That's the saying we're going by. It was said that Isaac is the oldest one. That's the saying the Jews prefer, because the Jews are descended from Isaac, the real Jews. Original Jews are descended from Isaac. And some people might say in English, Isaac, with two A's there. Isaac. Isaac or Isaac. Ishmael, he was the sacrifice, al-dhabih, the one Abraham was to slaughter. And it was said that it was Isaac, so we say it was Ishmael. And Ishmael was the son of the slave woman, Hagar. She was an Egyptian woman. So then, that's lawful birth. And that's lawful relationship between master and slave woman. Allah had the wisdom for revealing to Abraham to the legality of revealing to Abraham the legality of being intimate with his slave woman, and even created from them a baby and made that baby a prophet. So now no one, like in our times, people, they talk bad about slavery. No one should speak ill of slavery in a broad sense. Rather, just speak ill of injustice. Slavery is not injustice. Slavery is an important human institution. And likewise, Allah Ta'ala had the wisdom for revealing to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam the legality of his marriage to Aisha, which wasn't anything strange anyway. It's not like that was just new and strange and never, it was unheard of. No, not at all. But Allah willed for the Prophet to marry Aisha, rahimahullah. So something became spread amongst humans today concerning such marriage. So beware of taking, saying what's against the religion. Beware of saying what's against the religion. Be mindful before you say what the people say. But be mindful before you say merely what the society says. And be mindful of being amongst the people who follow societal norms without religious scale, without mizanun shar'i, without religious scale, to weigh things, to sift through what's right and what's wrong. So Isaac, he is the father of the grandfather of the Israelites. Isaac is the grandfather of the Israelites. So Ishmael, he's uncle of the Israelites, great uncle of the Israelites. And Abraham, he is great grandfather of the Israelites. But Ishmael, he is a father of Arabs, not all Arabs though. Ishmael is a father of Arabs. He's an Arabian patriarch. For Arabs, for some of them, he is a patriarch. And then, therefore, Abraham is also a grandfather for some of the Arabs. There were Arabs before Ishmael. Ishmael wasn't an Arab originally. Isaac, uh, so what ethnicity was Isa? Let me come to Isa before. I didn't get to Isa yet. Alayhi salatu wassalam. Isaac, for your information, he had a twin brother. Esau. So I think they call him Esau in English. Yaqubu. And then Jacob, he is Israel. Jacob is Israel. Israel. He is the one who had 12 sons. From how many women? I think I asked you last time. How many women Jacob had? How many women did Jacob have?
Two
Sorry?
sisters. He married to two sisters.
Uh-huh. Uh, the answer though is missing something. 5, 4,
What
3.
question?
Sorry?
What was the question?
Question is, how many women did Yaqub have?
Isn't it two?
Well, he
With
did
two
have
sisters.
2, but that's not all though.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. He had 4 women, 2 wives and 2 slave women. And his 2 wives were sisters. So it was revealed to him, and he was a messenger. Was revealed to him the legality of marrying 2 sisters at the same time. That law was abrogated by the Torah, the law of the Torah. And it was said about Prophet Yaqub too, alayhi salatu wasalam, that he suffered from sciatica. Sciatica, you know sciatica? It's like we have something in your nerve in the back. Also, he was the one who went blind, temporarily blind, from his crying so much because he lost his sons. At one point, he had 3 lost sons. 3. At one point, he had 3 lost sons from his own perspective. Lost sons. Jacob, Bismillah. Yusuf, alayhi salatu wassalam. He was the first one. And then Binyamin, when Yusuf did a trick to keep his brother with him for wisdom. And then one of the brothers, he stayed behind and sent the rest back to their father. After Binyamin got taken, one of them said, I will stay here. Go and tell father. So they went back and they told Yaqub. So from his own perspective, that's 3 of his sons now. He doesn't have them. May Allah Ta'ala unite the fathers and the sons. And may Allah unite the fathers and the daughters. And may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala rectify the relationships between the fathers and their children. I mean, I'm saying the fathers in particular. So many things, so many stories. MashaAllah. Especially from the daughters. All you daughters are treating your fathers. Are you telling your fathers what you're not going to do? You told your dad what you're not going to do? You told your dad what you're not going to tolerate? You gave your dad some ultimatums? You got to chill. Played. So Joseph, he became the king of Egypt. He was the one who was thrown into the well, and he wound up king of Egypt. Yani, he was taken to Egypt as a slave. He wasn't really a slave, though. A free Muslim will never become a slave. He was taken to Egypt as a slave and wound up in charge of the land. يَتَبَوَّأُ مِنْهَا حَيْثُ يَشَاءُ. After he was yani, supposedly a slave, after that he could go anywhere he wanted.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is a Islamically, is a captive the same as a slave? They the same?
No, a captive is not the same as a slave. Rather, there are some people who become enslaved by mere capture,
Mm-hmm.
and some people who do not become enslaved by mere capture. When we talk about capture here, when capture doesn't mean kidnapping. We're not talking about kidnapping people here. Talking about wartime, prisoners, POWs, prisoners of war. The women and the children will become the prepubescent children. Women and prepubescent children will become slaves by mere capture. Not slaves of those who capture them, but just slaves. And then they get added to the pot and distributed when the spoils are distributed amongst the fighters. The men, though, they don't become slaves by mere capture. The caliph has 4 choices concerning them. He can enslave them, he can execute them, he can incarcerate them, or he can let them go. And letting them go has 2 cases. He can let them go for ransom, or he can let them go for free. SubhanAllah. Wa Ayyub, and Job. That's how people will say his name, Job, but there's no E there. I personally never saw it written with an E, Jobe. For a long time as a kid, I didn't know why his name was Job, and it's not Job, but that's what they say is Job. I wouldn't be surprised if I met someone who thought his name is Job. Ayyub. He was the one who was sick for 18 years. And then Allah Ta'ala restored his youth for him and restored his wife's youth. That's a lesson there for those sisters who are married to the mashayikh and the people who are involved in the da'wah, and you are supporting them. Question: how do we explain that slavery is a great institution? Well, I think I said important. An important human institution. How so? Because what's your alternatives to that? Your alternative to that is what? Mass incarceration. We know how that works. Or what else? Execution, for example. Or what else? Just letting your enemy go so he can come back and fight another day. Let him live to fight another day. That's just the start there. So from here, one can go. شعيب هارون وموسى واليسع ذو الكفل داود سليمان تبع. Shu'aib, Aaron, and Moses, and Al-Yasa, Dhul Kifl, David, and Solomon trailed. Shu'aib, he was the prophet sent to Midian, the town of Midian, that town that was on the crossroads between Arabia and the Levant and between Egypt and Iraq. So they were very wealthy. Wealthy tycoons and cheaters, perhaps capitalists, as well as as talking about the people of the town, as well as criminals of different sorts also, including robbers, muggers. So Allah sent the Prophet to them, and of course, Yani, they worshipped. What they used to worship? Who knows what they used to worship? What the people of Shu'aib used to worship? What did the people of Shu'aib used to worship? 5, 4.
Idols.
Well, I don't know if they had idols. Maybe they had idols, but they had something else. I don't know about idols. I don't know, yes or no. 3, 2, 1.
That's all I can say.
Wa alaikum salam.
From what you gave us, I'm guessing right now. From since they was in the Levant, so much money. Was it gold?
Well, they weren't in the Levant. They were between Arabia and the Levant, and they were between Egypt and Iraq. So they were in some middle position there. Was the gold they had? I don't know. They probably, Yani, they had probably all sorts of things. Especially that. Don't forget, selling is really bartering. Bartering means you can use anything for money, anything with monetary value. Religiously, you're going to use anything with monetary value for money. So bartering means, for example, maybe I have salt and you have skins, or like that. Maybe you have rice and I have uh, yani, spices. So we trade. So yani, Allah knows, maybe they had all sorts of things. It was said that Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, wasn't he sold as a slave? It was said that he was purchased for silver, silk, and musk. Silver, silk, and musk. That's what was paid to take Yusuf. What they used to worship? They used to worship the woods, the woodlands. They had woodlands. People of Shu'aib were the people of the woodlands. Ashabul Aika. Why they used to worship the woodlands? Because Allah created for them, yani in their area at that time, they had very beautiful woods. The trees would intertwine, wrap around each other. Aaron and Moses. Aaron, they are brothers. It is said that Aaron is the older brother, but some said Moses is the older brother. But for sure, Aaron was born in a year when the boys were spared. And Moses was the one who was born in the year where the boys, the Israelite boys, were to be massacred. At first, the Pharaoh was massacring any Israelite baby boy. Any newborn Israelite boy, male, he would have him killed. He put officers over the midwives. Midwives means the women who help the pregnant women deliver. He put officers over them to make sure that if it was a boy, they would kill him. Until the Egyptians, who are the Egyptians? What do you call the Egyptians, by the way? And I say the Egyptians. What do you call them? What's the name of their tribe? 5.
The Copts.
The Copts, correct. Until the Egyptians, meaning the Copts, almost ran out of slaves. So then they complained to the Pharaoh. So then the Pharaoh started massacring boys every other year. Aaron was born in a year where the boys were spared, and Moses was born in a year where the boys were to be killed. And so that's why his
Can
mother
you
was
spell
keeping the
that?
secret.
You said Cox.
Yeah, Copts. 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 Uh, that's why Moses' mother was keeping him a secret, because, yani, according to them, he wasn't legal, illegal child. So that's why she had him in the basket in the river. But when the officers came around, she forgot to tie the basket, and that's how the basket got away from her. She used to keep a basket at the river. She lived close to the river. She used to keep a basket at the river. Whenever the officers would come around, she'd put the baby into the basket and have the basket tied to something so that it doesn't float away. And then the basket would be in the river with the baby, but tethered, tied to a tree or a bush or something. One time she forgot to tie it when the officers came around. That's how she lost him. That's how he wound up in the Pharaoh's palace. That's what happens when you rush. That's lesson 2. That's what happens when you rush. You forget something. And you get distracted. You get surprised, for example, then you forget something. And uh, al-yasa, some say, first of all, that's L, that L is not the. Actually, the dash doesn't have to be there. Al-yasa. His name's al-yasa. Uh, yeah, some say, in terms of translation, they say his name is Ulysses. Ulysses. That's Greek. But I don't know his story well. It was said that he was a follower of Elias. It was said that he was a follower of Elias. When Elias, yani after Elias, he took his place. After Elias, he received revelation and took his place. Lul Kifl, there's nothing confirmed about his story. And the Qur'an has no mention of his story, only his name, Dhul Kifl. David, David the son of Jesse, David the son of Jesse. So he was like the Mahdi for the Israelites. How he was like the Mahdi for the Israelites? Because there was a time when the Israelites were strong. So what happened to them? Moses brought them out of Egypt, took them to the promised land. They refused to fight the colossal tyrants, and so they got lost for 40 years. Then, after the last people who refused to help Moses fight passed away, and Moses had already passed away, then, and Aaron had passed away also. Aaron died before Moses. Then, Yusha, prophet Joshua, whose name is not here in the poem, uh, because his name's not in the Quran. Prophet Joshua, he is the one who took the Israelites into the promised land and vanquished the colossal tyrants. And from there, the Israelites established their kingdoms and became powerful until after time passed. After some time, and they didn't have a prophet, and they didn't have a king. Yeah, they didn't have a prophet first. They did have a king though, and then their king died, and also they lost uh, the Ark of the Covenant, which was a chest that had relics of Moses and Aaron. They lost it in one of their battles, so their morale was destroyed. They had no morale. They were demoralized. And they didn't have a prophet with them. They didn't have a leader, and they were demoralized. And they were also even being terrorized by mushriks. Mushriks would come, yani, like sneak into their lands and like climb through their window and steal their children. Wal-'iyadhu billah. So they were divided. They were in bad situation. Then Allah sent the prophet to them. It was said he's Samuel. And then they said to him, send us a king. Give us a king. Appoint a king for us. We need a king to fight our enemies. And then Talut, Saul, he was made a king over them. They didn't accept, all of them. Not all of them accepted, so they were not united. And then Talut, he took the Israelites to go fight uh, Goliath, the Mushrik. Goliath, he was a giant. He was amongst and he was one of the remnants of the colossal tyrants. The colossal tyrants had been vanquished. I said vanquished. That means Joshua wiped them out. Like, he committed genocide. Joshua did genocide on those colossal tyrants. They were humans. Goliath was from this race, that race of humans. And he was a king. He was a pagan king, and he had an army. So King Saul was the one who led the army to fight Goliath. It wasn't David who was in charge of the army, if you didn't know. It was Saul was in charge of the army. David was a soldier in Saul's army. He was a young man. And he killed Goliath. And when he killed Goliath, then Saul gave him half of his money and gave him his daughter in marriage. And all of the Israelites united around David. And their morale came back and they became powerful again. That's how he's like Mahdi for them. Then they started winning their wars again. And then they reached their peak with Solomon, alayhi salatu wassalam, who was the son of David. And Allah gave Solomon a supernatural kingdom. Solomon, alayhi salam, he had control over genies, devil genies, kafir genies. He had control over kafir genies and birds. So he had like an air force of a sort. And he had air support. Solomon had air support for his army. And he had control of the wind. Or a wind. Allah gave him a wind that he could control. And Allah made molten metal flow for him. Molten, maybe it was copper, maybe it was brass. Molten metal flowed for him. What you gonna do with the flowing molten brass? But he had, mashallah, enormous towers, buildings. He made the jinn build them. And he had statues. He had cauldrons. You know what a cauldron is? A pot. Huge pots. Huge, huge, huge ones, though. It's like, think about nuclear plants. Don't they have big things? Solomon had these huge pots. I don't know what he was doing with those. And other things. So he was invincible, Solomon, alayhi salatu wassalam. After Solomon, then the might and the heyday of the Israelites declined. Ilyasu, Yunus, Zakaria, Yahya, Isa, wa Taha, Khatimun, Da'ghaya. Elias, Elias, Jonas, Zacharias, John, Jesus, and Paul, a seal. Abandon ignorance. Elias, he was the one sent to to Israelites in the land of Baalabek. They used to worship an idol called Baal. Baal. And Jonas, or some say Jonah. I like Jonas more than Jonah because in Arabic has seen Yunus. So I like Jonas. Jonas, alayhi salam, he was the one who was swallowed by a fish. And some people say a whale. I never got it confirmed from any teacher that it's a whale. What we understand from whale, the one that has a hole in his head, comes up and blows the water out. Kafir's going to tell you that's not water he blows out. The whale doesn't blow water out of his blowhole. That's what he said. Say, no, that's just air. I'm going to say to him, looks like water to me. The kuffar, don't forget, it's part of their education is to look for something to deny its obviousness. To look for something that what it looks like and then to deny what it looks like. Say it's not what you think it is. So anyway, Zacharias, he was the father of Yahya, John. And he was the sponsor. He was Mary's sponsor. Mary, the mother of Jesus, he was Mary's sponsor. He was married to Mary's aunt. That's how she had such a good upbringing. She was brought up by a prophet of Allah Ta'ala, and he was a carpenter. Alayhi salatu wassalam. The kuffar killed him by sawing him. They sawed him. He went inside of a tree. They wanted to kill him. He was running through an orchard. A tree opened up and called him to come inside of it. So he went to go inside of it, and the devil was following him, Iblis. So when he went inside, Iblis took a piece of his clothing and held it, so that when the tree closed on him, a piece of his clothing was still hanging outside the tree. And then he brought the people to come and chop the tree down. So they sawed the tree and they killed Zachariah in the process. And it was said that that he was killed by being taken and thrown upon a stone slab and then killed by ruffians, hoodlums, unjust people who claim that they said he's the one who made Mary pregnant, and then they killed him. That's a saying. So two sayings about how he died. Yahya, that's John. He was the one whose head was cut off. He was beheaded, and he was like Sufi, like a monk. He used to wear just fur or wool. Either it was fur or wool between him and Jesus. They were similar. Jesus and John were similar in this regard. One of them, as I remember, Jesus was the one who wore wool, and John was the one who wore fur. Neither of them got married at their times. Jesus, he will get married when he comes back. John, he did not get married, and he did not have desire for women without, though, having a weakness. It wasn't a weakness. It wasn't a deficiency in him that he didn't have desire for women. He was healthy, and he was like any healthy man, but he was not interested in the women in that, because of his religiousness, his religiosity. That's why. Jesus, what was Jesus's ethnicity? Someone asked the question. Well, Jesus, he was for sure an Israelite. He was an Israelite. His lineage goes back to David through his mother, though. Jesus' lineage goes back through his mother to David, Prophet David. So he's one. He's from amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. The Israelites had 12 tribes. You ever heard of some people they called Hebrew Israelites? These are very ignorant people. They're not Israelites, nor are they. Those are African Americans who want an identity for themselves. So they said, "No, we are Israelites. We're Jews. We're black Jews." He said, if you were to say to them, how you was a black Jew? They said, "Yo, we are from the lost tribe." I don't know if they say it's the lost tribe of Shabazz. They say it's the lost tribe of Shabazz. I don't know. They say, no, there's a lost tribe of Israel. The tribe of, I don't know if they say Shabazz or they say something else. So what do you say to that Hebrew Israelite? Tell him, tell me your list of fathers back to Jacob. Tell me your list of fathers back to Jacob. If you are an Israelite, you won't be able to. Yeah, he was an Israelite. He says, so he goes back to Isaac, and he was an Israelite. Yani means he goes back to Jacob. He goes back to David, which means then he goes back to Jacob, which means he goes back to Isaac, which means he goes back to Abraham. All the prophets who came after Abraham go back to Abraham. All prophets from the time of Abraham go back to Abraham. Yani Lut, he's the nephew, though, of Abraham, not his son. Other than Lut, any of the prophets from Abraham on, they come from Abraham. So that's an honor that Allah gave to Adam and Noah and Abraham. All the prophets, they come from Adam. All the prophets after Noah, they go back to Noah. All the prophets after Abraham, they go back to Abraham. And this one, Yahya, Allah named him. It's mentioned in the Qur'an. Allah revealed to Zakaria, Ismuhu Yahya. His name shall be Yahya. Lam naj'al lahu min qablu samiyya. We did not create for him any namesake. No one had this name before, Yahya. That's why I really prefer Yahya over John. But just because this is a translation, I put John there. Allah named him Yahya. Even his father didn't name him. Allah named him. And he became a prophet as a child. وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْحُكْمَ صَبِيًّا. Allah made him a prophet as a child. And who else it was said he became a prophet as a child? Anyone know? Who else it was said he became a prophet as a child? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. According to a saying, Yusuf became a prophet as a child. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا. When he was thrown into the well, Allah says, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ. So some said he became a prophet as a child when he was thrown into the well. And some even said Jesus was a prophet as a child, but yani what we say is that he became a prophet when he was 30. Well, Taha, that's Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Khatimun, a seal, yani the last of the prophets. Da ghayya, abandon ignorance. This is filler to complete the line. And then the author, to finish this chapter on the prophets, he said, alayhimus salatu wassalamu wa alihim ma damatil ayyamu. Upon them be the blessings and the salam, and their families, yani, and upon their families for the rest of days. Wallahu a'lam. Allah knows best. So we went over a little bit over time. Barakallahu feekum. May Allah bless your time. Ameen. Do you have any question I can answer for you?
I have a question.
Yes.
For the rest of the days means up to Yawm al-Qiyamah, or what does it mean?
ما دامت الأيام. So very literally, as long as days last. As long as days last. So I don't know. We can take a look in Sheikh Tariq's explanation and see, inshallah, see if he commented there. So it's just translation.
Someone to check.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
And what's the name you said? Haran? Is that Aaron?
Haran?
Yes.
Is that what?
Aaron.
No. Haran. Haran. His name is Haran. Haran is the brother of Abraham, not Aaron. Aaron is Harun. Haran is Haron. Haran is Haron. Aaron is Harun. You're welcome. I knew somebody named Haran. Very bad person. SubhanAllah. Very wicked kafir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
My son wanted me to ask, how many generations was Prophet Lut from Prophet Adam?
Between
Alayhi.
Lut and Adam,
Yeah.
I don't know how many generations. Many. Because you had Adam, and then there was Sheeth, and then Idris. That's 1,000 years between Adam and Idris. Then, after Idris was Noah. It's 1,000 years between Idris and Noah. And then centuries between Noah and Abraham. Hud and Salih are between Noah and Abraham. So then there's Abraham. So many centuries. Lut was at the time of Abraham. Amin wa fi.